guys, it's Minik from earlylearningmom.com. I'm here today to share with you the books that little Z and I read this year for his homeschooling curriculum. We started in September and it is now the end of February. I've decided that my homeschooling year is going to look like, we homeschool year round, and the way I'm kind of preparing it, I guess, is we homeschool from September to the end of February, and in February we kind of have like a reset, and we go from February until August, and then come September we'll move on to grade 1. It just gives us more freedom because I find that sometimes we need breaks in between when we homeschool. There's times the kids get sick or we have a lot going on, so I don't want to put us in a box and then have 2 months off during the summer and kind of fall off of that routine. I think the routine is super important and that we should be homeschooling year round. You have to excuse, this is my new kitty. His name is Apollo. He gave us quite a scare yesterday. As you can see, he's hairless. And we live in Winnipeg, Manitoba in Canada, and it is the dead of winter. And he snuck out last night, and he is trying to knock over my camera. He snuck out yesterday and spent 20 minutes out in the cold. Luckily, we found him quick enough, so very scary moment. So we have been guarding those doors so he can't sneak. So we landed up reading 16 books. I have 15 of them right here. For some reason, one of them I cannot find. I keep a planner. I create my own planners. Everybody talks about, oh, I love this planner for homeschooling. I love that. Not me. I couldn't find anything that worked for me, and I decided the best thing I could do for myself was create my own planner. And right at the front of our planner, this planner anyways, I'm going to show you my new planner. I've updated it a bit, but for this planner I created a book list and I put some books here that we would like to read. The goal was to get through 20 books, and I don't know whether the goal was to get through 20 books in the year or 20 books in this half a year period. We landed up hitting the 16 mark, and I'm quite impressed with that because there were times where we were super consistent with our reading before bed, and then there was other times we went, a week or two without reading before bed. Now, we read quite a bit during the day. Our homeschool curriculum is literature-based. This is outside of the homeschool curriculum. This is little Z and I snuggling in bed before he goes off to sleep. So I did we did get some new books, and so we switched out books and added them here. And we did decide to skip the borrowers. It was too descriptive and too wordy at the beginning. It wasn't holding his interest, and I'm not going to force him to sit through a book that he's not enjoying right away when he's so young. That's another one that we can come back to. We have the whole box set, and it's not going anywhere. So if Mr. Apollo will let me, I'm going to show you some of the books we went through. We read the Magic School Bus chapter book, Twister Trouble. We read the Berenstain Bears and the Showdown at Chainsaw Gap, and I love the Berenstain Bear chapter books. I've always loved the Berenstain Bear picture books, which I need to find my collection. We haven't read a lot of them. This year we went through the Berenstain Bear science book as one of our first science books through Bookshark, and I just really love it. So we are going to be reading more Berenstain Bears chapter books. We also read Usborne Young Reading. Stop scratching my carpet, Miss Artemis. The Usborne Young Reading, I can't even talk today. The Usborne Young Reading Beauty and the Beast book. This is what happens when you film late. And you have 2 kittens running around. We also read the Usborne Young Reading Stories of Monsters. We also read the Stories of Robots. That's the one I cannot find. and it's gonna turn up. I wasn't gonna turn my house upside down any more than it already is. We also read James and the Giant Peach, and Zizi really seemed to enjoy this one. We read Arthur's Mystery Envelope, Clifford the Big Red Dog Saves Whales, and I did not know that Clifford has chapter books as well as picture books, so we really enjoyed that. Actually, I'm going to save that one. I'll do it after this one. We read The Adventures of the Bailey School Kids, Vampires Don't Wear Polka Dots. It's the first in the series. I'm hoping to read more of these. When I was growing up, this was one of my favorite sets of chapter books, and so it's a lot of fun to reread them because I thought I remembered this book, and I did not remember this book. It was just fun to relive my childhood. And we also went through The Bailey City Monsters, The Monster Next Door. We read this one as well. We read another Arthur book, Arthur and the Crunch Cereal Contest. And I'm fumbling on my words. I'm not editing those out because frankly I don't know how. And you know what? Sometimes you just have to be real. That's who I am. We did a video recently about my homeschool haul where I got the collection of the Magic Tree House books 1 through 43. We already had a few of the books, including book 1, and we read book 1, and we're excited to jump through and read more of this series. We just finished tonight The Adventures of Wishbone Salty Dog. Does anybody remember Wishbone? I saw this book at the thrift store and I picked it up. This is book 2. I'm hoping to get my hands on a few more. I love Wishbone. I love that he can, that the author retells stories using Wishbone, the character. You know, we may not have been able to get through Treasure Island with Little Z at this point in his development, but we were able to get through it and he was very attentive. We also, I did a video a year or two ago about our Little Critter books. We read Elsie and the Critter Kids, The Pizza War, and it's a Little Critter chapter book. I'm so glad they're turning like Clifford and Berenstain Bears and Little Critter into longer books, and that him and I can sit down and enjoy over a couple days. It usually takes us for most of these books 5 days. This one might have been shorter. I think this one was 3 days because the chapters are quite short, but we read on average 2 chapters a day. So some take us longer than others. We also started this series. It is the Who Is and What Is and Where Is and Who Was series. So we read Who Is Wayne Gretzky, and my husband's family, they are big hockey people, and so when my husband's aunt was picking out some of these books, I knew for a fact that she was going to pick Wayne Gretzky, and we really enjoyed it. And I have to say, I enjoy these books, the 2 that we've read, because I've actually learned quite a bit about these people that I wasn't aware of either. We read Who Was Steve Irwin, and I grew up watching The Crocodile Hunter and the Crocodile Hunter movie and all of that great stuff. I really enjoyed learning more about Steve Irwin. I actually purchased the biography that his wife Terry Irwin wrote after reading this book, so I'm excited to jump into that for my own personal reading, just to get a little more in depth about his life. So these books I highly recommend. I think over Christmas we landed up collecting about 60 of them. I did a huge book outlet order. They were on clearance for between $1.50 and $3 a book, and I couldn't leave them because at our local bookstore they're running for $6 to $8 a book. So I just filled the cart and bought way too many, but they'll hold us off. I'm sure they're going to last us a couple of years of reading through them, and even my big kids are getting into them and grabbing them and reading them, and they're learning. So this was our stack plus one, we're missing one, of books that we've read in the last 6 months, on top of our school reading and just for fun picture book reading. So I'm hoping my camera decided to die. Anyhow, I'm hoping that for the March to end of August kind of term, we can up the ante a little bit. I want to get at least the 16 books that we've done, and I'd like to get it to a solid 20, maybe even more. I think we have a good group of books that we're really excited to read, and we're going to jump into there, and we're going to add in just to mix it up a little bit. We're not going to stick solely with the Magic Treehouse and the Who Was, Who Is, Where Is series. We are going to throw in some other, maybe some Bailey Street Kid books. You know, who knows what the thrift store is going to bring us to read through. So that is what we read. And thanks for watching. If you like these videos, be sure to like, subscribe. Please help me get to my goal of 1,000 subs. Many of you guys know YouTube has changed a lot of their policies, and I really like to make it my goal this year to hit 1,000 subs. So if you could help me out with that, it would be awesome. Be sure to check out my blog, www.earlylearningmom.com. And thanks for watching. Until next time.